What if the next time a narcissist lies to you, you don't try to prove them wrong? You position the truth instead. You use it against them instead. That's true leverage. And I'm going to be going into that in today's video. Hey, I'm Rebecca Zung. I'm the leverage lawyer and globally recognized high conflict communications and negotiations expert, the author of Slay the Bully. And if you're new here, hit subscribe and that notification bell so you never miss the strategies to build true leverage and take back your life. All right, so I want to know, quick question, who here has ever caught a narcissist lying to your face? I want you to put yes in the comments right now. And seeing you speak your truth helps you find yours and other people find theirs too. And I really picked this topic because it's one of the narcissist's favorite tools. Lying is really a form of gaslighting. It's a form of making you think that you're crazy, making you think that your reality is not reality. And they just push it on you. And after a while, your brain starts to just get scrambled and you end up with cognitive dissonance. It can affect your health and all sorts of things. But here's the thing, the true you is still inside of you and knows it. And that's why you're here today and you're watching this video today, because you know that the goal is to create true leverage, documentation, positioning, timing, situations, so that their lies collapse under their own weight. And I'm going to give you 5 phrases right now to do exactly that. So first thing, you don't need to get them to admit they're lying. That is just way too much headache and they're not going to do it. What you need to do is make it expensive, and expensive in terms of what they're willing to expend to maintain. Quick rules before we start. The first thing is anything that you say, tone wins. Tone, calm, flat, brief. Think newscaster, professional mediator. You're observing. You are not in the debate team here, okay? This is not to win the argument. It's to get the edge, get the leverage, and data, not drama. We're building a paper trail. We're building documentation, a pattern map. Every phrase you're about to learn serves that purpose. Okay, so here are the 5 phrases. The first one is, oh, that's interesting. Tell me more about that. Or that's interesting. Where did you hear that? Or that's interesting. How did you come to that conclusion? Basically, it's you respond with curiosity, not anger. Curiosity, not anger. When do you use this? You use this when they're smearing, when there's vague accusations, triangulation, gossip. Why it works is that it breaks their frame and it forces specificity. Narcissists need fog. Specifics create accountability. And remember, they're trying to bait you and trigger you. And when you don't do that, when you don't get sucked in, then they don't get supply from you. So if you're in the workplace and somebody says, oh, everybody else thinks that you're the problem, that your attitude is the problem. Oh, that's interesting. Where did you hear that? Right? Who specifically said that? And when did they say it? Because it's not everybody. If you're in a co-parenting situation, the kids told me that they don't want to, spend the night with you or whatever. Oh, that's interesting. Which child? What date? When did they say that? How was that communicated? That's interesting. The point is that you want to identify the source, the date, the method, and you just, I just want to follow up. Neutral face, slight head tilt, pen ready. You're interviewing a witness, not sparring, because you're basically like, well, I want to correct that if that's the case, or I want to verify this situation because clearly that's not accurate. You're pushing it back on them. You're not taking this on. This is a coat you don't want to wear, okay? You're saying, no, thank you. I'm not going to wear that today. So you don't say, that's a lie. That makes you look like the emotional one, and it feeds the narrative, okay? The next one is, can you show me proof? You use this when there's claims about what you might have said or done, or alleged agreements, or made up rules. Why it works is it shifts the burden of proof. Pathological liars rely on your fear of confrontation. Documentation cuts that off. For a legal or divorce, the narcissist might say, your lawyer said you don't have a case. Really? Can you show me proof? When did my lawyer say that? Give me an email, a letter, a timestamp. If it's money or business, you authorize this transfer, is what the narcissist might say. You will say, show me the authorization with my signature or my digital approval. Please attach the documentation, contract, email, thread, signed approval, whatever, supporting the statement. If they stall, if you can't provide documentation, I'll proceed based on the existing set of facts that I have. Calm, slow, leave a pause after you ask, because remember, there's power in pause, and that is at least 8 seconds. Silence is pressure. Now let's circle back to the facts we both agree on. This is another thing to say to a narcissist when they lie to you. Let's circle back to the facts we both agree on. You use this during revisionist history when they are switching topics back and forth, when they're using DARVO, deny, attack, reverse victim offender, they're reversing it. And it works because you're anchoring to shared facts. It's a de-escalation and a control of the scope, a control of the narrative. You are now leading, you're pacing, you are setting the agenda. So if it's a co-parenting and they say, oh, you never stick to the schedule, well, let's circle back to the facts we both agree on, or the court order. Section B of the parenting plan states that the exchanges take place at 5 p.m. And here are the last 3 timestamps of on-time exchanges. Workplace example, if you have a narcissistic boss and that boss says you missed critical deadlines, circling back to agreed facts, project timeline moved on May 2nd, and here are the emails approving that change. And then you might say, to align, here are the mutually documented facts. 1, 2, 3. Please confirm. Use a document or something to demonstrate this, okay? Because visualization reduces the gaslighting. And if you need help documenting, I want you to go to docthenarc.com and get my free Doc the Narc cheat sheet so you can get started with documenting the right way. The next thing is, I see that that's how you remember it. I understand that that's how you remember it. You use this during those he said, she said moments, baiting, projection, blame shifting. And it works because you're declining to participate. Remember, there's a saying out there that says you don't have to join in every argument that you're invited to. And that's what it is. You don't have to get down into it. It's agreeing without agreeing. Okay, I understand that that's how you see it. I get that. It validates that they have a memory, but it's not your memory. It's not the memory that you know to be true. If you say, you promised to pay all my credit card bills, you say, I understand that that's how you remember it, but I'll rely on our agreement. Thank you. Thank you very much. If you have a narcissist coworker who says something like, you said I could take all the credit for this deck or whatever, I understand that that's how you remember it, but here's the thread when we discuss this. You just want to state these things in a way that is super neutral, super calm, very matter of fact, because the more that they know that they're getting under your skin, then they have you. Then you're basically saying, here's my power, right? And you don't want to give away your power. If you need more help with this, join my free private Facebook group, Narcissist Negotiators, with Rebecca Zung for much, much more support. The last one, 5 things to say, when a narcissist lies to you is, I'll put that in writing so we're both clear. What you want to do is confirm. You want to confirm everything in writing. I had a situation recently where I was dealing with someone who was shifting and trying to blame and all the things. And after I met with the person, I just sent an email to confirm what we discussed. This is what it is. You are turning everything into a record. Even if they don't respond, that's fine, because they didn't come back with, no, that's not correct. You can make the assumption that it must be. Paper trails create leverage. Narcissists cannot fight screenshots. In any situation like this, where they say, we agreed, we said this, you're going to want to just say, well, here was the email, the confirmation, or here's what you signed. Here's the contract. Okay. Per our conversation, here's the summary of what we had discussed and agreed to. You just don't want to get into the back and forth, because the more you get into the back and forth, the more power they have and the less power you have. All right. And this is where you're starting to build your leverage. Here's the clarify document exit loop. Clarify. That's interesting. Where did you hear that? Document. Can you show me proof? Let's circle back to the facts we both agree on. And then exit. I'll put that in writing so we're both clear. So that way it's verifiable. You're not discussing. This is not up for discussion. Okay. This is just how it's going to be. You're staying out of the fray. You're not getting down and sucked into the vortex of craziness. Make sure that you have these phrases at the ready so that you can be super and uber prepared for whatever they throw at you, which they will, because narcissists lie. That is the nature of them. They lie even when they don't need to. They lie even when things are readily verifiable. You're not going to stop a narcissist from lying. That's never going to happen. So getting upset about the fact that they lie or whatever, there's no reason for that. But you can control how quickly their lies collapse. When you master these phrases, you stop being bait and you start being the person who sets the terms. That's leverage. If this helped you, I want to make sure that you give it a thumbs up and also share it to anybody who needs to see this. Quickly check right now and make sure that you are subscribed and you've hit that bell. And then tell me in the comments which one you're going to say first. All right. If you've ever built anything from scratch, whether it's a business, a brand, or a podcast, you know there's nothing small about it. The decisions, the hustle, the grind, the pressure, it's so all consuming. And that's why I was so grateful to find Shopify when I set up my own store, shop.rebeccazung.com. Shopify powers millions of businesses worldwide and handles 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from giants like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just starting out. It simplifies everything: inventory, payments, analytics, marketing, all in one place, and their built-in tools make it so easy to run email and social campaigns that keep customers coming back. If you're selling globally, Shopify can help you do that too at over 150 countries. If you're selling in person, their award-winning point of sale brings your online and retail worlds together. And with 99.9% uptime and the best converting checkout on the planet, you'll never miss a sale. Get all the big stuff for your small business right with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 a month trial and start selling at shopify.com/negotiate. That's shopify.com/negotiate. And the next video I want you to watch is how to outsmart the narcissist, which will help to reinforce all the strategies that you just learned right here. Okay, so go watch that next. I will see you in that next video. And remember, they only win if you give in.